Felicitations! It is me, Felicia Day, and this is 2019. It is a new year, everybody. And not to break with tradition, I had to restart this podcast because I started recording it on GarageBand, and then I didn't realize that the vocal reverberation was on. Why do they do that as a default, you guys? Why? Why do we need to echo? All right, I'm secure in what little unechoey voice that I have. I don't know. It's weird. Let me double check. It's actually off. Okay, it's off. Hey, I am so excited. I hope you guys had a great break. I took a little bit time off. I know that I should have done a podcast 2 weeks ago and I didn't do it because I am on lockdown, babies. Lockdown. I have basically since December 11th been on a writing deadline. I have been writing every single day, all day. My thighs have spread inches wide. I am definitely addicted to Hydrox cookies. Have you guys ever heard of this? If you watch my streams, you'll be familiar with them. But I did another podcast the other day. It's going to be on in a couple weeks. I forget the name of it. I will let you know when it's on the 19th. And it is, okay, just a second. It's called Go Fact Yourself. And my friend Jay Keith, who I've known for years and years and years and years, amazing, very funny guy, does it. And I had to, so basically you have to, I guess I'm just coming on the podcast. I'm just doing it. Okay. So basically you have to bring several topics that you're an expert on and be prepared to be, quizzed on those. And you are put up against another person. My rival, quote unquote, in the episode happened to be Elliot Kalin, the head writer of MST3K. And a very, very nerdy, very smart guy, dude. So I was a little intimidated. And so one of the things that I picked were cookies, okay? And I threw a bunch of ideas out and they helped me cull it down. But cookies was one of the things that they responded to that I said that I knew a lot about. Unfortunately, all I know about cookies is that I can eat them really well. So I was cramming on my cookie lore, so to speak. And I found out that the original sandwich cookie is not, in fact, an Oreo. It is the Hydrox cookie. That is the real original sandwich cookie. Oreo ripped the Hydrox cookie off. Not only did it rip it off, but it drove it into bankruptcy. But then the company called Leaf, I think, resurrected the Hydrox cookie. And by the way, you can buy them now. And let me just tell you guys, first of all, Hydrox cookies, not sponsored by, but Hydrox cookies have no lard in them. No high fructose corn syrup. They use pure sugar, natural stuff. And I'm telling you, it is the best cookie you can get like over the counter. Over the counter. I know that's usually used with cold medicines, but I'm talking cookie. This is my cold medicine. Hydrox cookies. They're not as sweet as Oreos and they just taste better. The filling isn't as gummy and I can eat 4. Yeah, I wouldn't even feel bloated afterwards. So anyway, highly recommend it if you can special order the Hydrox cookies and see for yourself, okay? I want to hear your feedback. Again, not sponsored by Hydrox. So yeah, I actually didn't eat very well over the last 3-4 weeks because I've been writing. I've been butt in seat. So getting back to what I was talking about, I had a deadline of a project that I should have started in September. I have shared with you guys what I've been going through. I've been out of town working. I had another project that I had previously obligated myself that kind of got pushed, but I had to do it before this other project. And I've been working on that. And then I kind of fell into kind of a depression with the whole thyroid thing. So I had a rough fall. I just have to say that. I definitely, I need a spa day. I do. And I'm going to reward myself with a spa day after I finish this deadline. So essentially I had to push back my January 1st deadline to March 1st. But even then, I had to use the holiday to put my butt in the seat and write. And I've been writing I've been sitting here for 8 hours a day. I do have a treadmill desk. It's really nice. And I don't do as good original thinking there. But if I outline on a pen and a pad of paper, I can transcribe and walk. I don't necessarily do it. I always think, hey, you should get up and walk. And then I just ended up sitting there, tabbing back and forth between Twitter a lot. But I finally got up to speed. The same thing happened to me when I was, it's hard to write in isolation. It really is. A novelist, I applaud you. When I'm single focusing on a writing project, it's really hard to get into the rhythm of that specific project. And so I kind of was writing Sorry. I'm also sick. It's fun. It's great here. Yay. I also, it took me about a week and a half to really get up to speed where I was doing like enough words a day that I felt like I was getting progress done. And also it's just you seeing everybody else like jetting. Oh, I'm going to Bermuda. I'm going to Thailand. I'm staying in Los Angeles and I'm just going to sit here. And it was a little demoralizing. I love traveling during the holidays. I love seeing other countries and how they celebrate the holidays. I love the lights. I just love the whole sort of, hey, everybody's on vacation kind of vibe. The traffic was great in LA. I was able to go 90 miles per hour anywhere I wanted to go. And that's really the only thing. So, with the same kind of attitude. Well, anyway, so for Christmas, the highlight was Calliope having a Christmas that she was kind of aware of. We really appreciated Santa this year. Santa was a big point of topic. And I tried not to do the good girl thing because, and I have to avoid it when I'm reading books about Santa because it's like, if you're a good girl, if you're a good boy, but because I read an article about like how molesters groom children, there's certain verbiages they use, and be a good girl, quote unquote, is a horribly creepy thing that people who want to take advantage of children say. So I don't know. It skeeved me out so much that it kind of tainted the whole situation. But anyway, we worked through it. So basically Santa, he comes to every child. It doesn't matter if he does not judge your behavior on compliance or non-compliance. That's all I gotta say. So we definitely invited Santa. We left some cookies out and some milk. She was really concerned about the reindeer because she loves animals so much. So we left some celery and carrots and cookies. She ate the cookies before we went to bed. It was a little awkward, but she didn't see the problem in it, so I was fine with it. And then Santa came. So you know how, guys know how crazy I am about like gender neutral stuff. I really want her to find her way herself. She's obsessed with pink. So what she wanted for Christmas was pink dinosaur. How she got that? I don't know. Maybe it was because I never had pink around. She thinks it's exotic now. I actually like screwed myself in the process of sort of, and it wasn't like I was militant about it. I personally don't even like pink. And I am enraged when I look down a toy aisle and I can automatically see it's a girl's aisle because it's just all pink and purple. It just irritates me, okay? Like, pink dinosaurs are great. I've gotten her pink dinosaur outfits before, you know? It's so complicated. Anywho, she wanted a pink dinosaur and she wanted a piano. And she got all of those things and about 50,000 others. She got a dollhouse, which my dad got her a dollhouse, and she's obsessed with it. She's obsessed with it, but I got her some little humans, and they were like trashed immediately. It's all about them animals, okay? The animals love playing there. They love playing in the little, I got this Plan Toys chalet. It's kind of an investment, guys. And I had to put it together while an impatient 22-month-old was sitting there going, house, house. And I'm like, hold your horses, lady. I got about 4 hours of work to do here. So that was an interesting Christmas. And then we had enchiladas for dinner. So it was awesome. She loved it. She's just so cute, you guys. She is almost 2 years old, which is insane to think that it's been 2 years since she was born. But, technically that's it. Time passes very, very fast. Very, very fast. Honestly, this is the first year in my whole life I haven't really made up a to-do list for like a goals list or something. And which is weird because I really had this feeling that 2019 is going to be great. 19 is my lucky number. I think I mentioned that before. I've won the lottery twice with it. I won $500 when I did 319 on the lottery when I was 12 years old. And then once in college, 19 was one of 5 numbers when I got 5 out of 6 in the Texas Lotto, which is 23. If I had just had 23, that would have been much nicer to have all that money. But anyway, it's fine. Life goes on. So I have high hopes. It's just that it's this weird point in my life where I just don't know where to go. I'm sort of, and I have a couple of projects that I'm just in the middle of. 4 projects I'm in the middle of that haven't kind of gotten started yet. They're in the middle of either being negotiated or they're like, I'm halfway through, which doesn't feel like I'm anywhere that's exciting to celebrate because I'm like, just let me get this thing done. Please, please. So I'm kind of like, don't want anything new to happen right now before I get these 2 projects that I'm kind of just trying to finish done, and it'll be several months before that. So it's kind of tough, and I'm just kind of caught between worlds. It's listen, having a baby is hard. 2 years of my life, if I took 2-year chunks of my life and saw what I accomplished in those 2-year chunks, I would say that the number of things is very, very low in the last 2 years, because having a baby is like a full-time job, even if you have full-time help. It really is. And no wonder, especially women, they're just you're expected to really do everything well. And that's not reality. Or you just have to give yourself up completely, because you're between your work and your kid, there's nothing left of you. There's scraps of me. I honestly just looked at my board game collection that I haven't been able to touch in 6 months. I'm like, why? Why just have that? It just sits there reminding you of what you used to do. It's tough. But I'm dealing with it, and actually it's better for me to just understand that life isn't all about what we achieve. It's about what we're doing while we're living our lives, and just even taking the weekends and being like, I can't work. I have the baby all day, every day, and this is awesome. Like we're just going to enjoy each other. I guess I do have a couple of resolutions. And I do have a couple of things that I want to thank 2018 for. I guess it's that slowing down does not make me a bad person. It doesn't make me any less of a human being to not be as accomplishing as much in other people's eyes, because I'm accomplishing a lot for the people who are around me in my life who I love a lot. So that's good. Is that a Hallmark movie? But for 2019, I have a couple of goals. I would really, really love to get a little bit in shape. I have let it go, like 100%, you guys. I'm actually rewarding myself if I finish a draft of this project I'm writing, that I can go and get my hair done, like properly, by a fancy person. That's my reward, to look kept. And since the thyroid medicine really messed with my body a lot, and I stopped breastfeeding almost, I'm going to get there, end of the month, yeah. I can't lose weight, so I'm like 10 pounds overweight, which mostly it just is on my butt, so it's nice. But if you look in the mirror, it's not, believe me. I'm having some body image issues, and so that kind of reflects with me just wearing old t-shirts all the time and not really putting effort into it, and also just being in my house writing. Writers are schlubby because why bother, right? Why bother is my tagline right now. So I'd like to maybe get on top of that. Maybe do a little wardrobe cleansing, a little, self-care. That's one thing. I am continuing my Spanish lessons, which I realize have been the highlight of my week sometimes, even though I'm not working hard enough on it to progress in any normal level, or, romper is to break things. Like, that's the one thing I learned last week, okay? Just because I thought it was funny that a romper is so destructive, because it's really one of the most innocuous pieces of clothing you can buy. Yeah. Anyway, so, I would really like to keep that going and be a little more aggressive about learning and conversing and get in shape and just be a little more aggressive in figuring out what I want to do creatively versus what I should be doing and or what is opportunistically able to be doing in a system of Hollywood, which doesn't seem to be making anything I make anyway. So there's some big career goals too. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss. What do I do? What should I do, guys? Acting? Should I go back to videos? No. Web videos are terrible lately. It's a sad state. Most people who I know who worked in the world of web video are unemployed, or they moved to other areas of the world, because it's so interesting how there was such a bubble. And I think the same thing is going to happen in the TV world. I really do. I think a lot of people are being employed, so much content being made. It's exactly the same as music did with the Napster days, right? It's a cycle of how digital disrupts and then finds a new normal. And people find opportunity, but then the opportunity is taken away from them. So there are a lot of people who have a lot of, skills that where are we going to use them? It's podcasting. Everybody's doing podcasting right now. I guarantee you that podcasting will fall through as well, because where's the money? All about them cheddars. So other than that, really just working throughout my break and just being kind of a mopey Gus, I have been consuming some things because I felt like it was my obligation. I've had a bunch of screeners come through, and I can't say that I've seen anything I loved except Spider-Verse. I mean, I actually want to go see it again in the theater because it was so just excellent in every way. Just everything. Everything about it is so innovative. The visuals were incredible. The acting. I loved Gwen. Oh my God, she was so good. The way she was animated, I wanted the whole thing to be her. The one thing I was kind of pissed off about was the future Spider Girl, the anime girl with the robot. You're from 1,000 years in the future. You should be able to kick everybody's ass. Why did people have to constantly rescue you? She should have been the OP one, right? I don't know. That just bothered me. Other than that, perfection. Perfection! I watched The Favorite, which, I don't know, made me a little uncomfortable, and I liked a lot of things about it. The acting was incredible. Stars Born, Lady Gaga was so amazing. Every single party I went to, and I went to 2, so every single one of them for the holidays, everybody sang carols, but they also sang that one song. Sledgehammer? No, what is it? Sludge? You know, whatever it is. Anyway, I've been watching a lot of TV I've been watching Netflix, mostly. I started that Marie Kondo show, which I loved her book. I've had it on my shelf for years, and you know, the TV show is okay, but she doesn't speak English very well, so it's kind of hard to sort of root for her, and she seems like a little bit of a germaphobe. Like, she doesn't really touch people's stuff or get near them. She is very neat, and people hold umbrellas over her, and she feels like maybe she has sort of a germ thing going on. Also, she doesn't really organize anything. She tells people to do it, and then they do the work, and she brings like 3 used boxes, and it's like, hey, use these. And I'm like, can you not just go to Container Store and get some really nice bins to... I mean, there's nothing that I like better than closet porn. I love a good closet. Oh my God, if the shoes are stacked, if somebody has like a drawer with a glass front that you could open and get shoes out of, I mean, God, that's when I've made it, guys. If that happens to me one day, that I get a closet like that. So Marie Kondo didn't really do any of that. She didn't bring any equipment in. It was like they have 0 budget. She bought some cardboard boxes in lately, and it's like, hey, use these in your drawers. I'm like, no, that's not good enough. Help us here. Get some bins. So I would have loved to see a more thorough transformation using basically organizational things. But hey, I'm obsessed with putting things in boxes now, like expensive boxes, not just like her cast-off cardboard boxes. I watched 2 episodes. I don't know if I'll get any further into it, but I do like the principles, and I have thrown out quite a lot secretly from Calliope's room since. And she always notices. Where? Elephant, where? I'm like, I don't know. Must have gone out the front door. And to Goodwill. I also watched some animation, because I'm kind of into animation lately. I watched She-Ra. Unbelievable, you guys. I loved it. I think I mentioned this last time, actually. But I also started watching Big Mouth, which is probably one of the dirtiest things I've ever seen. And it made me laugh so hard. I'm like halfway through season 1. It is so gross, you guys. I just don't want to see an animated pube ever, but I feel like I see it every episode in that. Even if I don't see it, they make me visualize it like a teenager's pubes. And I'm just like, oh, it's really, really funny. That's it. I also just really dug into my writing. I am kind of frustrated just in general with my pace and my discipline around my writing. And I'm like, well, if you're halfway in a writing career, you need to kind of just like do it. And I just want to create stuff for myself again, because that really was where I derived the most pleasure, found the most success, and just creative fulfillment. That's kind of what it's all about, right? So I read several books that really helped me kind of jumpstart my writing. One of them was 2,000 to 10,000 Words by Rachel Aaron. I think I've recommended this book before, maybe on Goodreads, but it's just, I reread it and it's so good and concise, and just even the first couple chapters are like, oh, this is great. Very encouraging and just simple advice. I've read so many writing books, you guys, and a lot of them are just not helpful. They're like, and if the A thing comes here and then the B thing, and then make sure on page 30 to have this happen. I'm like, okay, this is why I hate mainstream fiction, is because people have rules like this. But But if somebody really, Ed Solomon is a very famous writer on Twitter, and he's had many Twitter rants with the best advice just about, your job as a writer is to tell the story nobody else can tell, right? And yes, you need technique to be able to convey that in a organized and professional manner, but you don't need to be just doing paint-by-number screenplays, which I feel like a lot of people are encouraged to do nowadays. So 2,000 to 10,000, Into the Woods by John Yorke. I think I talked about this before. And then the newest one I just read was Take Off Your Pants by Libbie Hawker. I just downloaded that, and it's really good. It's about book writing more than anything, but super, super good. And I found that her technique is something I would love to be able to write a book with. So maybe one day, yay. As I mentioned, I'm trying to find a network for this podcast because, quite frankly, I need somebody to hold my feet to the fire. And I'd like to just do some interviews, and I don't want people at my house. I kind of just drew the line after shooting in my house for so long and having so many things broken and just like, well, now I have a baby here. I just don't want strangers in the house. So I'm trying to find a network. So you guys, if you could spread word about the podcast and just link it and make sure to download it and listen to it when it's up, hopefully in the next couple months I'll find a home somewhere and be able to go somewhere and interview people. So that'd be fun. And let's see. I guess we should do some questions. Oh, before I do that, I think I'm going to be in San Francisco this weekend. So if you guys are in San Francisco, I have some podcast stuff happening this year. So I'm in this amazing improv. It's an improv comedy space podcast. And my friend Steve Berg, who was in Dr. Horrible, is in it. And Janet Varney, who is just an incredible actress and voiceover person, and Colton Dunn, who is on Superstore and is just so funny. We all, and my friend Brian Koppel, who used to run Geek and Sundry, is the creator of it. And so the gang's back together, guys. Lots of amazing guest stars, and it's going to be out, I think, next month sometime. But we're doing a sneak preview at Sketchfest in San Francisco this weekend, Saturday night at 10 p.m. Come see me. I'm also doing Grace Helbig's Not Too Deep podcast on Sunday at 3:30 or 4. And I don't know where it is. Just look at sfsketchfest.com if you want to come and see me in person. And keep your ears open because Felicia's going to be on the waves more because I do this right now. Okay, let's do some questiones. Shout out to Sean Sandaluki who helps me organize this podcast and gives me all these questions so that you guys can get them answered. Okay. Lucas Stevens asked, Have you by chance seen Netflix's She-Ra? As someone that is definitely not part of the target audience, I was flabbergasted how much I ended up really liking it. If you haven't seen it yet, might be something to enjoy. Well, Lucas, with your child. Well, Lucas, Calliope doesn't watch TV yet. She's not 3 years old. I know some people say 2 years old, you can start watching like an hour a day. I'm going to try to go to 3. Just because every study I've read is not like, it's not better to have them watch TV. And it is detrimental if they watch too much TV. A couple times, I've watched the dog show with her, and we watched some fireworks on New Year's Eve with her from like Australia at 4 p.m. So I'm not like militant about it, but I do. She loves reading so much. I feel like if I don't want to take away from that as a substitute until she's really interested, and she doesn't really seem that interested now. But like I said, I did watch She-Ra. And I love Noelle Stevenson. She's a wonderful tweeter, actually. She made this really amazing update at the end of the year where she announced her engagement, which is amazing. And also just shared her struggles of how hard it was to make She-Ra as a showrunner, Being a showrunner is so difficult, you guys. I have so many friends who do it, and it just drains your soul. It's so much responsibility. You are the CEO, and you're a creator, and you're a manager all at once. I used to dream about doing it, and now I don't even know if I have the appetite for it anymore because it's your baby. And I admire the hell out of women who are able to have babies and do that. I think if it was something I'm really passionate about, sure. But if it was just a casual job, nah. Although it's a nice job. Okay. Thanks, Lucas, for that suggestion that really wasn't a suggestion. Hi. Okay. Robert Belenzin asks he's suggesting 2 suggestions for sleeping. 1, meditationoasis.com, number 6, /podcast number 6, music for medication. 2, Sleep CD by Steve Wingfield. I will try both of those out because, Robert, even though I was sleeping better, now I'm sleeping awful now. I think it's because I'm staring at a computer 8 hours a day. I do feel like the inside of my eyeballs are slightly burned out. Like when I close my eyes, I just see white. And it's because I'm on this writing deadline, and I'm actually worried about my eyes. Do you guys know? I read an article that said those glasses that you can wear to negate the blue light are just bull. They don't actually work. So I don't know how to get around it. I'm writing for the next 3 or 4 months. Am I going to go blind? Oh, boy. Anyway, Robert also asked, are you adapting and starring in Shards of Honor? Okay, Robert, that is so random. Because I haven't even read that book. But when I looked it up, it was a Louis Bujold Vorkosian series that I was talking about the other day about a lead in a sci-fi person. He has a lot of disabilities, physical disabilities, the lead of that series. But this thing that you're suggesting is completely different. It's about different characters. So I'm actually excited. I downloaded it, so it will be on my to-read list next week. So thank you for that. Thanks, Robert. These are not really questions, but I'm just giving a shout out because you guys did some effort. Please, guys, even if they're dumb questions, hashtag felicitations on Twitter because I need them questions. Okay. Michael Timpey asked, have you ever tried to get cast in a DC or Marvel project? Yes. If not, if you could choose one character that you could play in a show or film, who would that be? So Michael, the one that I really wanted was there was a role in Agent Carter of the friend of Peggy, and it ended up going to a completely different actress who didn't look like me at all, but the weird part is that in the audition they were going to make that character a musical theater person, so I had to sing an old-fashioned song, and I was so obsessed with it. I really wanted that job. So I don't know if there's any other superheroes who could sing show tunes from the 1940s, but hey, sign me up. I feel like, especially for DC and Marvel projects, I think my status as a nerd woman almost hurts me because they see me as a fan person versus an actor. You know, I'm more valuable as somebody who can market. I've been asked a lot in the past to do Marvel events as a moderator for panels and such, and to attend screenings and stuff like that. And I guess, that's kind of a trap that my career sort of like made me fall in the cracks of certain areas of not being seen as an actor, being seen as a personality. And I see a lot of YouTube people trying to transition out of YouTube now because YouTube's kind of dying, especially if you're over 20 years old. And it's tough because if people like have you in their mind as one thing, you're not going to be able to fight that because it's like having a first impression of someone. Yeah, you can't shake it. It's really hard to shake. And that's why it's so hard to change people's minds about things like politics, because once you're sort of once your brain is sort of like, fixed on this is exactly what the world is like, this is what this person is like, it's really hard to change that. If you meet bitchy Susan, at the party and she's bitchy, you're always going to think that's bitchy Susan, right? That was a weird analogy. Okay. Amy Greer said... Wait, Amy Greer said? Is that her last name? Okay. Okay, any advice on getting your game on as a parent? Oh, boy. Our late night party days may be over, but we enjoy our younglings in the game room. We lost our gaming group when we had kids. They totally bailed on us. I get it. We're extremely competitive, and nursing babies and changing diapers killed the vibe. Well, that's bull. We're raising our own gamers now, but it's not the same. Yeah, you think? Because you can't play like a really competitive game of like Scythe with your 5-year-old. I don't know why our best friends, gaming friends, are childless, but that's the case. Any advice on getting your game on as a parent? You sound amazing, Amy, and I'm sorry that you got ghosted by your single friends. And I think I answered a question about this. A single person, I think it was Rocket Soup or something, asked how can I be a supportive person to my friend and not let our friendship die because my friend is having a baby, and it's super tough. It is really, really tough because your interests and your worlds completely change. You don't have the time for your friends that you did. You are so overwhelmed that it's so hard to make any effort. I mean, I have so many people who I just feel so guilty about that I can't even pick up a phone and text them, I'm sorry, I haven't seen you in 2 years. Like, it just happens. That's just what it is. And I think that single people have longer lives in that they can do more with their time, so they feel like they're living it faster or slower than me, who I feel like time is just slipping into the future. 5 people got that reference. Well, okay, here are a couple of suggestions, Amy. I would reach back out to your friends and just be like, hey guys, I know that we did this, but can we just set a day once a month for us to get together, and we will hire a babysitter or something. I mean, it's really important, I think, as a person to at least have one night occasionally for you as an adult, like date night, quote unquote. Make it a date night with your friends. Also, why not have a trade-off night so that once every 2 weeks you get to play and your significant other watches the kid, and vice versa. Or one of you is on kid duty. So basically, you guys play one spot, you share, a character or whatever, and so you guys can just tag team out when somebody needs to deal with a baby. So that might be a solution, because I really think it's important. It's important for you to not lose that part of yourself. I'm struggling a lot with it myself. Like, I would love to have a game night with my friends. They're all single. It's super hard. Half the time I'm running out because even if I hired somebody for, $100 or something for, a proper game night, that's a big investment of my time, and still I'm tempted to go inside to look at the baby. So go to somebody else's house, maybe trade off with your spouse or your partner, and trade off and have that game night away from your house so that you have a night to yourself, alternate. Or, like I said, you can have it at your house and maybe just play one spot. Both seem like really good solutions. And maybe find other parent friends who game, Because I can't tell you how excited I am to have bought Calliope's first board game. It's called Sneaky Squirrel. And it's just a squirrel and some acorns. It's a super basic game. And I bought a couple others by the same game designer. There's one with like a shopping cart where you're going and shopping at the grocery store. And it's just so adorable. And she loves it. She's not really playing the game, but I'm teaching her, hey, let's spin the wheel. You get an acorn, I get an acorn. Look, the sneaky squirrel's stealing the acorn. What a scamp. And I think I'm just teaching her, and she really enjoys it. She also enjoys puzzles, and she's really becoming this person who I'm like, oh my God, we're going to play Mario Kart together one day, and I'm going to be the happiest lady ever. So I would just encourage you to, as a 2019 resolution, maybe figure out how you and your partner can figure it out. And even if that means one of you sacrificing a little bit, if you do it equally, both of you can get some enjoyment out of it. And honestly, once they're 3, I feel like once she's 3 years old, Calliope, there's a whole list of board games we can play together. And you mentioned in your note that you do that with the kids, and it's not the same. Of course it's not the same, because you can't call your friends a mother effer when they steal something, like a resource or something in a game. So you need that. You need to be able to scream profanities at your friends in a gaming situation. So that's what I would say. If you're doing like a role RPG, it's a little bit harder, but listen, you could do a 1 night a month single campaign. And if you, like I said, you trade off with your partner, maybe somebody, maybe you can have that flexibility with your friends. And also just telling your friends, hey, I'm sorry, I ghosted you, but you ghosted me too. Let's figure out how not to ghost each other is kind of a nice way to start the year off right. Renewing friendships. Because real friends, even if you haven't talked to them in 6 years, they're going to be, you can pick up right off where you let off. Okay, a couple more quick questions. Joe, covered in Christmas lights, asks, hey, Felicia Day, quick question for your podcast. I noticed you showed up in some of the promos for Nailed It, the holiday, but I didn't see you in the released episodes. What's the tea on that? I actually don't have an answer for this. I just want to address it. Yeah, I'm in an episode. I just don't know when. Clearly, it's not one of the holiday episodes. And it wasn't, so I don't know. They just used that for the trailer. I will let you know when it's out. And last questions. James Smith, Jimmy Sprinkles, asks, besides the normal routine, do you have any daily goals? And if they do they coincide with your main life goals? That's a really good one, James Smith, and that's a good one to end our 2019 first podcast with. I've already talked about my goals, and my daily goal, and making them a daily goal habit is my resolution for 2019. Because There is nothing like the accumulation of time to create a habit and to create progress in your life. If you do once a blue moon something, you're not going to get better at it, and you're not going to have it as part of your body and your mind in a like handball. I don't know. If you play handball, you can't just go once every 2 months and feel good about yourself, okay? You have to have a routine. And so my rules are I do Duolingo and I do Tiny Cards and one other app. I do 3 different little Spanish lessons a day, so I at least retain a handful of new words a day. That's my new goal. I sit down and I write every day, whether it's just a journal entry or I'm writing 8 hours. Certainly getting into the habit and making myself write every day for hours and hours has gotten me unstuck from my creative sort of trap, the funk that I've been stuck in. And just forcing yourself to work. When you just get the flow going, honestly, your creativity is like, you're letting me out. Look at all the new things I can come up with if you just let me out and run. It's like a really obnoxious like dachshund. They need to run to the end of the driveway and back so many times, and then they need to poop too, and then they go back inside of you. Not your poop and not your dachshund. That made no sense. So I guess my daily goals are to do Spanish, do something physical, do not be on the phone with my child when I'm with her ever. I don't want her to grow up seeing her mom just buried in a phone. I see so many other parents like that, and it really, it makes me sad. Just the visual of it. If I were a painter, I would paint that. There was a guy on the playground who was just like doing the swing with his kid and not even looking up. And I'm like, these are the moments of our lives, okay? There is nothing on Twitter that is more important than this child smiling on that swing. So those are my daily goals. And they do coincide with my main life goals in A, learning new things, Spanish, B, being more healthy, trying to work out 3 times a week, and C, being more creative. The writing every day, if you're doing something creative, whatever it is, it's going to feed into whatever else creativity you're doing too. So daily practice is the thing, and that is definitely a 2019 thing to resolve. So guys, I hope you guys have some daily goals that you have in your life and some 2019 goals too. Make them realistic. And don't do too many of them, because if you do 5,000 of them, you'll never do any of them, and you'll be demoralized around July and probably gain weight because you ate too many cupcakes. Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks with the podcast. Again, please spread word. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. That really helps me. I will see you online. I did neglect to mention during this whole long podcast that I am obsessed with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I did go on vacation in ancient Greece with this game. I was streaming like 3 times a week for like a couple weeks there, and it was so great, you guys. A lot of people in the chat really helped me learn how to play better. I feel like I'm finally kind of a baller in that 50% of the time I can be stealthy, which in a game about being a stealthy assassin is probably better than the 10% that I was accomplishing before. And I just love it. It's such a good game. I love it so much, and I will be continuing to stream weekly. I usually stream on Friday or Saturday nights. This weekend I'll be in San Francisco, so look for a stream midweek next week, and probably on the weekend as well, because I don't want to let anybody go. I want to kill them all virtually, All right. See you guys later. Thank you very much. Thanks to all the people on my Discord too. Discord.gg/Felicia Day. Come chat.